Good morning, it's Rollie. And so for those of you catching the replay, hashtag replay, let me know that you're on. And for those of you who are just joining, on June 1st, I started a 30-day self-care challenge. And the reason for the 30-day self-care challenge was because for the most part, I manage and do self-care, and those are really important to me. And however, because of all of the craziness in my life, my self-care has been like a 70-30 split, or like might have even been like an 80-15 split. It's not been a great fit in terms of making sure that my self-care rituals, routines, things that I do for me have actually been being done in the same way that I would like them to be done, and in the same way that I encourage my clients to have them done. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Rollie Allaire, and I decided to do this self-care challenge on Bridging the Gap Wellness Center simply because we have a number of practitioners that come on, and they have a wealth of information. So I'm just a very small sliver of that pie at Bridging the Gap Wellness Center. And so normally I go live and do these things on my own personal business page, which is Rollie Allaire, Holistic Life and Wellness Coach. But I thought today, I thought for this challenge for this month that I would actually do it in the Wellness Center. Not a lot of activity happening at the center right now during everything that's going on because we're not fully open for groups and those kinds of sessions. But we are starting to open up for one-to-one sessions, that kind of thing. So super excited that way. But in the meantime, still making sure that we're looking after ourselves and doing that self-care and putting ourselves first. Oftentimes we don't put ourselves first. It's always like, oh, I have to do the dishes, and I have to do the laundry, and I have to go and do the groceries, or whatever it is that needs to happen. We often put all these other things first before we put our own things first. Before we put ourselves first. And so that part there is really extremely important. So I wanted to make sure to put it out there so that we all know what kinds of things can we actually do, because self-care doesn't have to be a full day at the spa. And that was one of the things that I said in my first video, I believe. If it wasn't my first video, I said it yesterday. But it's something that is really important for us to be able to do. And being able to put ourselves first. And although a whole day at a spa would be an amazing day, that's not necessarily everybody's reality. And those are pampered days. Those are special days. And so it's extremely important that we actually are able to do this. So on that note, today, we talked about writing our letter. So if you haven't written your letter, write your letter so that you actually have that, so that you actually get that message on July 1st. And I really like that app that I had actually shared. So it's a really great place to be able to do that. And yesterday, we had the, what was our challenge yesterday? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I looked at the challenges coming up, so now my brain is stuck on what it is that we're doing today. So my mind went blank on what it is that we were supposed to be doing yesterday. So if you're catching, if you guys are on live, please help me out with what was going on yesterday. What was happening yesterday? I can actually peek at my list, but I was really kind of hoping that I would just remember. So what is it that I did yesterday? Yesterday was a really busy day for me, so my my day just kind of escaped me, and because I'm just starting my day, I am completely forgotten what it is that I was doing yesterday. But anyway, let's go on to today while I'm actually looking it up. So today is, for a lot of us, and at least I can actually speak for myself, but for many of us, being able to wind down at the end of the day where our minds are not 100% racing is one of the challenges that we have. So one of the techniques, or one of the self-care tips that I'm going to give for today for you to do, and the challenge for today is to read read for 15 minutes before you go to bed. So it can be something motivational. It can be something that is it's one of those books that you have just been kind of hoping that you'd be able to read, but just haven't been able to. And so that part there is extremely important for us to be able to do. Lorraine Nemi right here. Okay, awesome, Penny. So just really important for us to be able to give ourselves that that time. So it could be something that you're wanting to learn, or can, but for the most part for me, is that 15 minutes is just something to read, something that is getting me out of doing work, getting out of doing that self-discovery, out of doing that personal growth. So I'm not necessarily reading something at that point that gives me that information, but somebody else may be. Hey, Marg. So it's just give yourself something to read that is 15 minutes. So it can be self-development, it can be, but it's just really something that allows you to be able to just kind of slow down and shut down, and maybe that 15 minutes may actually get to be longer. So as part of your bedtime routine, just take that time at the end of the day. And one of the things that I used to do with my kids when they were little is that every night before bed, we always read that 15 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever it was that we did. And it was shorter periods at different ages, but we would read before bed, which allowed them to be able to have that that downtime. And I know that my older son still, every night before bed, still reads. He reads 24/7 when he's not gaming or working, but he does still read before bed. And so he used to read at the kitchen table. He used to read, like, it didn't matter where this kid was, he would do reading. But it is so important for us to be able to keep our brains stimulated, but at the same time doing that reading before bed, and choosing something that will be either inspirational or something that is interesting, something that or a book that we have just been not able to read, and that kind of thing. So tonight I am going to find a book, one of my many books that I have not yet read, and I'm going to take that book and set it beside my nightstand, and that's what I'm going to read just before bed. So that is my goal for today. And I did look it up while I was talking, and the reason why I couldn't remember what it is that I had done was because it wasn't something extra that I did, because I had done it when we did our group pull, is that it was pull a tarot card for today, or an oracle card, something that gives you an inspiring message. And so today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a card from Life Loves You. And so I'm going to choose a card for all of us today, but pull your own card. So like if you have a card, pull it. And the reason why I decided that I'm going to pull this one after I remembered what it is that our self-care challenge was yesterday is that not everybody has cards available to them right now. So I am going to pull a card for the group for today. So I love being me. That is just so appropriate. So I love being me, and I really do love being me. Like oh my gosh, what was it that I was doing? I can't remember. So my girlfriend calls it squirrel. And so I often squirrel and can't remember what it is that I was doing. So the message on this one, so I love these cards here. I love these cards because she has the image on the front, but then has the message on the back. So you actually have the two things. So when I actually show it to you, then I get to show you the image of I love being me. And it says, stop trying to be normal. Me, not normal. Definitely, if you know me at all, I'm not the normal one. Be more of the real you. Show the world who you are. So I love being me. And so when I used to try and make sure that everything was like perfect, and not that I don't try and make sure that things are good and that they work well, I try and stay away from the perfectionism as much as possible so that it doesn't drive me insane. And so I love being me, and you guys see the real me when I jump on live because I don't script it. I don't script it. I don't plan it ahead. I know what my 30-day challenges are, but I don't necessarily know what it is that I'm going to say when I'm jumping on. So then when I get lost on a word, it's like, oh, what was that again? What was it that I was doing? Or, oh, what was it that we did yesterday for the challenge? So that's definitely the real me. And you get me at real me. So anyway, I will chat with you guys later, and I will give you guys the prompt for tomorrow. And I will see you soon. Bye for now.